Now, look, a lot of women are going to get mad at me about this video. You're going to get mad at me about this video because it is actually more of a feminist video, as well as you're going to get mad at me if you are trying to base base your relationship off of whatever religion you follow. And here, primarily in America, that is going to be the Christian religion, but it is also something that can be said of the Islamic religion as well. So what the hell am I talking about that y'all are going to get mad at me? Because I know that I can feel the anxiety and the angst already coming. Women are suffering in relationships or the ability to attain and maintain a relationship because you're still holding on to values that do not pertain to our modern day world today. You see, many women have one foot in a religion and one foot in our true reality. Our true reality is one where women have the opportunity and the ability to go out and make as much money as any man does. Women have the ability to inherit land, to buy houses, to have their own bank accounts. Women have the ability to raise kids just as well as a man can raise children. Now, I am a proponent that children raised in a household with two parents, and those are two loving parents of each other, then that child has a better opportunity than a child raised by a single parent. But studies have shown that if a child is being raised in a household where the parents are disagreeable towards one another, that a child raised in a single parent household actually turns out better, especially if they're raised in a single parent household where the two parents are still working together to raise the child. But when I say that you got one foot in your religion or into a past time frame, it is the idea that the man is the sole provider. The man is the primary provider. Women like to take on those types of attitudes that the man is the leader. The man has all the, he's supposed to make all the money, or his money is the money that counts and her money does not count. And those things don't match up with today because many men are not leaders, just as many women are not leaders. Most people are just good managers or they suck at managing. Very few leaders are created in our societies. So when you are looking at your religious context, you have to remember your religious context. And no matter which religion you are looking at, women were always submissive. Women were always looked upon as property. Women did not have the right to inherit property. In the instance where in the Bible where a woman was able to inherit property, she was only able to maintain that property if she married a man of that same tribe. But up until the 1970s, a woman couldn't even get a bank account without a man's signature on it. We do not live in that time right now. Women could not vote. Women, if they were to give their pledge to something, if it wasn't supported by their father or their husband, then it did not count. Women could not be considered witnesses to an event or a situation. So if you are holding on to an old mentality, that mentality doesn't function in our world today. But when you try to pick and choose which ones of those things that you want to hold on to, but not the other ones that you don't, because the other ones don't fit into our world, it causes abrasions. It causes problems in the relationship. I'm not saying that you should forego your religion. Keep your religion. By all means, keep your religion. But recognize that your relationship is not your religion. Your relationship with your spouse is not your religion. So let me be clear about that. Your relationship with a man is based on how the world is today. In most instances, it takes two incomes in order for a household to function. One income is not going to function for the entire household unless you have one person who makes an exorbitant amount of money, or you are willing to live a lifestyle that may not look as glamorous as everybody else's. And let me give you an example, tell you a story. You see, I have always been one to base the lifestyle off of one income. The reason why I did that wasn't because of any religious ideas. The reason why I did that is because if anything were to happen, and if there's two incomes coming in the house and anything were to happen, then I know that the one income that is remaining can still sustain the lifestyle. It's just good economics. So if me and my wife were both making $50,000 a year, we would not have $100,000 lifestyle. We would have a $50,000 lifestyle. So that if I were to lose my job or if she were to lose her job, then the other person's income will still sustain our lifestyle and not put us in a situation where, oh, we got 2 cars and a brand new house and credit card bills up the yin yang, and we got furniture bills, and we have all these other accoutrements that we don't really need, but we just desired. And now that one of us has lost a job, those things are in danger of being lost. And now the credit on both sides is going to fall to the wayside. And then it makes recovery much more difficult. So I've always been one to say, live off one income. It may not be glamorous. I remember a time frame where everybody else had a new car and a new house. I bought an older house and we had 2 older cars. Was not buying a new house, was not buying 2 new cars, was buying what one income can maintain. And I don't care who's making the money. Whoever has the greatest ability to make the most money is how the lifestyle was being based off of. But that doesn't sit right with a lot of people who got one foot into Islam or Christianity and one foot into the real world. Because in truth, both feet financially are in the real world. Both feet, society-wise, is in the real world. You can have a man in your life, but he may not be the best at finances. You may have a woman in your life. She may not be the best at dictating how the children are going to be raised. So just because in older societies, that's how things were set up, doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to work for you. You have to look at yourself and look at your mate and say, who has the best talents at what? And whoever has the best talents at whatever it is should be the one to take the lead in whatever category that is. I can cook, but compared to my wife, I'm making McDonald's and she over there, making that Michelin 5-star stuff. So compared to other people, I might be a Michelin 1-star. She a Michelin 5-star. So I'm making McDonald's compared to her Michelin 5-star. So I take a back seat on cooking because she's just better. Now, I've dated people where I was the Michelin 5-star and they were your local gas station. So I did the cooking because I was better at it. Don't get caught up so much into old traditions. We don't live in that time frame. We don't live in a time frame where women didn't have the opportunities that men had. Where it was difficult for a woman to go to college. It was difficult for women to get a job in anything STEM. It was difficult for a woman to have any abilities to grow her finances. We don't live in a world where men could beat their wives and there were no laws against it. We don't live in that world anymore. Do you realize that laws against spousal abuse are relatively new? They're only about 50 years old. So we don't live in those times. We live in today. And when you're seeking a relationship, keep your religion, that's fine. But also remember, you live in a different world than the people who decided that that's how you are supposed to live. So ladies, unless you want to go back to a time where you were considered property, find a balance. Find a balance. Because leadership is not born. Leadership is taught and grown in any individual. Any individual. And ladies, you are really just pushing women down when you try to force them to not be the greatest version of themselves. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.